So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Sun and fourth from the Sun. Okay, just like we did fourth from Saturn, fourth from Moon, fourth from Mercury, today we're doing fourth from Sun. Meaning, wherever your Sun is, you want to look fourth from itself. Which house that and that sign that is fourth from Sun. Because what is Sun? Sun is the soul. Sun is your status. Sun is the engine of life. Sun is the purpose of birth. That's what Sun is. Okay, Sun is many things. Sun is your own father, right? But most of the time it's about concerning ourselves and what develops us. And so, and especially for this, I think Monday or maybe Sunday, but Monday, I'm going to have Eve come on my Zoom meeting and we're going to record a video about Surya Kundali. So how important Surya Kundali becomes, besides just Chandra Kundali, meaning the moon chart, like making moon the ascendant, here you're going to make sun the ascendant. Because sometimes you can see, this is something I learned from her as well. Like why for someone, establishment of home becomes very important for their status to rise. This is something I'm going to discuss when I talk about prosperity after marriage in my marriage course that I'm doing right now. I'm going to talk about these particular things, how you can see on the simplest way what will give you that success and prosperity. So if Sun is your status, fourth from your status is that happiness of that status. Fourth from the status is what's going to nurture you. So that's what we're going to discuss today. And as always, if you want to know where your Sun is placed, what sign and house is fourth from your Sun, what sign and house it's sitting in, all your astrological details, check out links here, karasastrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and a link to my academy, Makavad Astrology Academy, where especially for marriage course, you can use the promo code KRS8. And to get all the courses with just one click, use the promo code KRS7, because I do know international people sometimes have to pay more. So you can use this code so you can get in the course. Now, as just like every other video that I've talked about, when I talk about fourth from the Sun, pay attention to the sign and houses. Okay? So fourth from the Sun. So for example, fourth from the Sun is the first house. So whether it's the first house in Aries, that quality will always be there. If fourth from the Sun is the second house, then second house in Taurus will be the similar quality and energy. Fourth from Sun is the sign of Gemini, will be Gemini and the third house energy. Then next one would be, if it's Cancer, then fourth house energy and Cancer together. Fifth house energy and Leo together. Sixth house energy and Virgo together. Fourth from Sun is seventh house or Libra, same energy will be there. Fourth from Sun is Scorpio or the 8th house, same energy will be there. Fourth from Sun is the 9th house or Sagittarius, same energy is there. Fourth from Sun is the 10th house or Capricorn, same energy. Fourth from Sun, Aquarius or 11th house, same energy. Fourth from Sun, Pisces or the 12th house, same energy. So, and it's something very important that I heard one time in House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, one of the best series ever. And this is when I was in DC actually living, and the whole thing took place in DC. There was a scene where his lawyer friend Remy chose to work with a oil company for $500,000 a year. And he said, poor Remy chose money over power. He doesn't know what he's doing. Because Frank Underwood knew that having power and status is an option to make whatever you want to make when you want to make, whatever you want to make. If you just chose money, that's it. That's one avenue you'll always have. but power will give you 100 different avenues to make money. This is why sun is power. Okay, so we're going to start from when sun is in the first house. Fourth from sun becomes the fourth house, right? And you will see for this particular individual, when you first buy your property, the moment you bought your first property, you saw your status went up. Your authority into the world went up. Your fame into the world went up. Okay, and especially you will see because sun is the soul. And this is the most important thing. We don't think about the soul. Because yes, even I don't think about the soul, because who has met their soul? Less than 0.001% of human beings have actually realized that this is a soul, this is a spirit, and I feel it, and I know it, and I am that. We just keep using these words like, snacks in a pantry. But if you really want to satisfy yourself, make your soul feel happy, do activities fourth from the sun. Take care of the mother. Take care of the people of the home. Take care of the people of the homeland. Okay? Take part and make sure that you're able to provide your family with property and a roof over their head. Because it is that property that feeds the soul, but then also, on the other hand, it feeds your ego, because sun is ego. That's why it's important. But you will see, if you let me know if you have sun in the ascendant, and when you bought your property, what happened after you bought your property? Even I would say even a car. You bought your car. But see, property is more of a fixed asset. And you will see such people when sun is in the ascendant usually will receive fame and recognition by support of people of their homeland. Okay. Then sun goes into the second house. So fourth from sun becomes the fifth house. So what is going to feed your soul, your ego, your status, your purpose, your power, and your prestige? It's going to be number one, your education. Education becomes very important for this particular sun, but also more so is continuing the lineage. And I've seen so many people who are like either refuse to get married, have no desire for marriage, sun is in the second, but they want a success in life. They want happiness in life. They want to make that big money. At least you should have children. Because the moment children come in, children is fourth from the sun. Okay. So fourth from the sun, the happiness, what makes your sun happy is when you're taking care of the fifth house. And especially you will see sun in the second house. Mantras. Like whenever moon is in the second house, you do mantra, you feel calm. When you do mantra with sun in the second house, it helps your status. It kind of takes away all the blemishes from the ego. Let's say somebody's hurting your ego. You did some mantra. Something will happen where your ego gets repaired. That person will come and apologize for saying this or saying that and making you feel this. That's how mantras work. When you do mantra, see what planet is sitting in the second house. Because you're getting the karma of that mantra. You should always, you will see with sun in the second house, the more this person keeps learning something in life, the better they keep doing in their professional life, in their society, in their status, in their family. Then you have sun in the third house. What this third house sun is asking for? Go out and fight. Okay. See, third house sun is not really about media. That's part of it. But what gets you success in your effort, because third house is effort, you cannot get any success unless you fight. Unless you struggle and you fight the Shadripus. When you fight your own ego and pride and competition, debts, enemies, the more competition this person has, okay, the better your purpose. That's your purpose of birth, is to achieve things by fighting. And I'm not talking about going there and like start a fight, kind of like from the movie Fight Club, when their assignment was to go and start a fight and lose that fight. It's not that. It's that there has to be this sangharsh. And then sixth house is health and illnesses. The moment you begin to help others with their sickness, illnesses, and their obstacles, your status rises, your ego rises, your power rises, so you can actually get that money. So, and it's something very important that I heard one time in House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, one of the best series ever. And this is when I was in DC actually living, and the whole thing took place in DC. There was a scene where his lawyer friend Remy chose to work with a oil company for $500,000 a year. And he said, poor Remy chose money over power. He doesn't know what he's doing. Because Frank Underwood knew that having power and status is an option to make whatever you want to make when you want to make whatever you want to make. If you just chose money, that's it. That's one avenue you'll always have. But power will give you 100 different avenues to make money. This is why sun is power. Now, when Venus and Jupiter are fourth from the sun, and Venus does go fourth from the sun, that particular area of your life automatically becomes part of your life. You actually go towards that thing. It makes things easier. You actually find wisdom from that particular place. Saturn makes it feel like it's a punishment. Saturn makes it feel like, it's like, you're waking up in the morning and you're like, oh man, I gotta go to that office again. Right? But Saturn is like, yeah, you have to go to that office again. Why? Because if you don't go, how are you gonna pay your rent? How are you gonna pay your mortgage? How are you gonna take care of your kids? Yes, you gotta do it. I know you don't like it. Yes, it feels like poison, but you're gonna have to do it. And I am going to judge you. You are going to be judged. Whatever you do here with me, fourth from the sun, you're not going to be appreciated. But you have to do it. Rahu, you'll always be suspicious of that. Why am I doing this? If I did this, this is what's going to happen. This is what's happening. I bet you this is what's happening. So fourth from sun, when Rahu is there, person's in suspicion and may not be able to do anything related to that fourth house. Like for example, when I talk about sun in the ninth house, fourth, Rahu is in the 12th, it's like, why should I go and look for spirituality? Every single spiritual guru is like a scam artist, as a charlatan. Absolutely not. So there's always this suspiciousness. Ketu is, that's where you find your highest of moksha. You will go always towards where Ketu is. So if it's fourth from sun, nobody needs to tell you this. You don't need this video for that. Because remember, Ketu's moksha, right? This is why Ketu is also sexual interactions. What happens after sex? It's like you reach that zenith and you're like, okay, now I can sleep. Right? Now I'm good. That's what Ketu is. So you're always running towards that 1 second of that high. So Ketu becomes, that natural magnetism that you go towards. Ketu is not saying, oh, you're done with this karma and all that. Yes, you may be done with the Ketu with that 12th, or Ketu in the 3rd or 4th house karma. But 4th from Sun, you're always going towards that. You're always finding moksha in that. So this is how you can understand the planets. Moon is there. From the 4th from Sun is Moon. You will see food, travel, okay, and pure satisfaction of your mind's senses will always gravitate. So it's kind of like Jupiter, Venus, and Moon. Moon is lust. Lust is not just sexual. Lust is that thing that you are looking for. So when Moon goes into the 4th, just like Ketu, the tail is there, mind is always gravitating you towards that 4th from Sun. So it's easier to achieve that goal of the Sun, because Ketu is sitting in the sign, in that place of happiness. So your mind is naturally there. Okay. So when Sun is in the 6th house, or not 6th house, sorry, when Sun is in the 3rd house, when you help people with their struggles, that's when things will happen for you. For example, like if you have Sun in the 3rd house, what is the job of an astrologer? You are helping people in their troubled time, whether it's their health, divorce, career, marriage, visa issue, whatever that is. You are helping them. So your Sun is finding that success. Then, Sun in the 4th house. What happens when you have Sun in the 4th house? The moment you get married and your family is settled, your status rises, your fame rises, your wellness rises, your power rises. You actually figure out your purpose in life. And see, purpose of birth is in the 4th house. Sun will reveal what the purpose of birth is by that activation of the 7th house. So when Sun is in the 4th house, you have to establish a family. You have to get married. Otherwise, it's like a king is right outside the door of the castle without his crown. And everything is waiting behind these gates. But in order to open up these gates, you've got to go through this ritual of becoming a householder. And especially with Sun in the 4th house, okay, people will be always inclined to gain their power through business and business partnerships. And usually if the combination is there for business, the spouse becomes the biggest helping hand. But with especially 7th house becoming active with Sun in the 4th house, you will see 7th house also represents mass recognition. So this person needs to get out. This person needs to meet people. This person needs to be known to people. That's when the ego is being fed. And soul saying in the 4th house. So again, we don't know what the hell soul is, right? We can only use these small little, hints and peccadillos of the soul. But when soul is in the 4th house, it wants to pay that responsibility and that karma of connected to being a householder in marriage. Because it knows, I have to pay this because I ignored this in my past life or some past life. So I have to pay this. Let's do it. And outside of that, now you're getting everything else that you need. Okay. One especially also with Sun in the 4th house. When you respect and take care of your grandmother, having the closeness with the grandmother will always help this Sun. But hardly anybody gets to do that. So this is why with Sun in the 4th house, one of the goals for the soul is to learn to trade. Trade as in business. And usually, Sun, the 4th house is the house of not just home, but it represents the throne. Okay. So, and remember, 4th house Sun is, directionless. And because of this, you will see the establishment of home happens late in life. Once you have crossed the 30th year, that's when the establishment of home would take place. Okay, and only then sun begins to find its direction in life, meaning the light of the sun begins to get brighter towards the 10th house. So yeah, for those who are saying that I'm never going to get married, I don't want to get married, maybe you're saying this because you probably don't have combinations for business or combinations for marriage. Yes, I get that. Sometimes it is that way, but sometimes it's not. So again, it all depends on chart to chart. Sometimes people just have phobias and OCD related to commitment and marriage because they had such a bad experience and probably some planet within the 7th house. Let's say 7th Lord's in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. That experience will make you traumatized. So now you don't want to get married because, you always think that you're going to repeat that same cycle of punishment. While you could be inviting a very, very good person in your life that can change everything for you. Now, I know somebody's going to be saying, no, I'd rather just struggle and be happy and be single. Hey, that's completely fine. Okay. Then, sun is in the 5th house. And 5th house sun, okay. One, you will see, somehow the person will definitely get help from one's in-laws to get their life transformed, to receive their success, status, and power in life. You will also see sun in the 5th as one of the best position for a person to become an excellent astrologer, occultist, or somebody who becomes a great medical professional. Somebody who's able to transform people's lives, change things. Like this sun shows that your status comes in, your power and your soul is wanting to change something. Number one. What your soul wants to do, it says, I never really changed anybody else's life. Never really changed my own life. I was just sitting duck. I was just like a lazy horse, never wanting to just achieve anything, and just my whole life went by like this. So now I must deal with transformation. So sun in the 5th house will only get awakened when you go from like an orange to orange juice. See, that's transformation. Although that especially will be true because Mars will co-rule the 8th house in Scorpio. Mars is a motor, right? Machine. So a machine that is turning orange into a juice. Maybe you should go into a juice related business or work. But what this simply is showing is that until you break away from your current condition, nothing will happen. Like, for example, you're living with your parents, you're 26, 27 years old, and it's like, where am I going to go? I have no job, no nothing. Nothing will happen until you leave. And you're like, that's it, I'm not going to enter this house again until I am an independent individual. But the other thing, if you don't want to take such a hard path with sun in the 5th house, you will see if you just simply study things like occult astrology, okay, you will see something begins to happen where your intelligence rises, number one. You begin to learn things. You begin to just understand life in a different way. Like, for example, I'll tell you my own thing is when I first came across Nadi astrology, the BNN astrology, something just changed inside me. I'm like, there's no way astrology can be this easy. And no way it can be this simple. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, if this is thinking like this, if this is how you think about planets and how they're affecting one another, but then what about this? What about that? And you begin to change. Your intelligence begins to change in that way. Now, sun in the 5th house is not saying go have children and everything awakens. That's actually another part of it. Okay? But it's what is going to bring about the gain of the seat of power, because your sun is 2nd from the 4th house and it's 8th from the 10th house of transformation. You want change, right? You want to go from like just being little nobody to a CEO. 8th house. You should even, like, if you're in technology, start learning about R&D. Or like I said, you start doing some sadhana, some penance, penances, sadhanas, you will see with sun in the fifth house. And because eighth house is fourth from sun, you should make a penance. Like, you know what? Until I get a promotion, I will not be intimate with my girlfriend, boyfriend, or my spouse. Or if, let's say, you have a favorite food and you want to eat that, right? You eat that at least once a week. You have to have it. Like some people have a sweet tooth. They gotta eat sweets. What happens? You're like, I'm not gonna touch sweet until I have gained this particular promotion or got my startup going. And you better stick to that. And you see how that eighth house begins to become active. And then because sun is in the fifth, the soul begins to feel happy. Sun is beginning to feel like it's at its happiest place. And remember, from the eighth house, sun is its 10th from itself. The kark of status and fame. Okay. Then, and remember, with sun in the fifth, what's going to happen if you do mantras? Especially when you do planetary mantra with sun in the fifth house. Like, for example, when you do these unique mantras that you get from me, people think, oh my God, these are some tantric this and this mantra. No, these are like zodiac sign and planetary mantras. But you probably have never heard of them, right? Om, pam, 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 pam. Om, aim, aim, snai, namaha, right? So, what happens when you do mantras with sun in the fifth house? If you're doing Jyotish and you're doing some planetary mantra, you'll begin to feel its power. Because eighth house is now becoming active. Because fifth house is mantra. Sun feels happy when it's educating itself, learning something. But what really feels happy when that eighth house is awakened. So when you do mantra, that vibration is going towards the eighth house because you're dealing with occult, mysticism, planetary mantras, stotrams. That becomes active. Unless you get initiated into some sadhana and you can receive a guru mantra. Okay, that guru mantra begins to invoke this sun. You will also see, right after the person gets an inheritance, their status rises. Their power becomes active with this sun. Now, if sun is in the sixth house, right, of daily work lives, daily routine, all your six forms of enemies. I've already made enough videos, but I can go into all kinds of predictions related to that. But we're focusing on what makes your soul happy. What makes where do you feel powerful? Where is feeling powerful, right? It's feeling happy. I finally did it. Oh God, I feel so powerful. So the moment, first of all, this person should never deceive their father, should never disobey their father. Now, yes, life brings you circumstances where father can be extremely abusive. What are you going to do? Not everybody is like some pure soul like Ram and, all these gods and these rishis that we hear about. Chanakya and this and that. So yeah, that becomes a problem. If you're lucky enough, having the father. So this is why sun becomes very good in the sixth house, because it wants to destroy all the obstacles and enemies, burns everything, purifies everything. You see, sun doesn't burn. It's burning, but it's purifying. It's purification. This is why it's a sattvic planet. If it was tamas, it'll burn it and just make it into ash. The sattvic planet, like sun, when it burns it, it purifies it. So now, the other thing, the most important thing, the moment a guru comes in your life, this is why you will see when people will say, The moment I met my guru, my life changed. I actually accelerated in my corporate job. I became a vice president here and I was driving Mercedes here and I had my own driver. Everybody needs a guru. So it's not really that everybody needs a guru. In your case, having a guru come in your life changed your sun. Because you were feeding your soul that I need a guidance, I need pure guidance. You will see sun in the sixth house, the higher the education is of an individual, the better the person does in life actually. Okay. Unless you happen to find Venus in the fifth house or seventh house in Capricorn, Aquarius, okay, or Virgo, then you will see that the education may not be helpful so much. To a certain extent, it might be helpful. And also, you will see those people, because the sun is in the sixth house. When you go on a pilgrimage, when you go on a holy jaunt, you will see some things begin to happen for your work. Okay. Like especially when I see for an Aries ascendant, sun in the sixth house, and they're having problems or issues with having children, I just tell them, go to Makamakya. Go see Makamakya. Because Kamakya Devi is naturally the goddess connected to pregnancy, connected to gifting the womb with a child. So here, in order to have its lordship and the fifth house become happy, you go and take that jaunt. Okay. Like, so the lordship, I should mention that the lordship of sun also matters because you're activating that as well. I probably will have to add it. Okay. Sun is in the seventh house. Right? So what's going to happen with sun in the seventh house? The moment you begin to serve in your work, the moment you begin to actually just work, you shouldn't be like at 23, 24 years old. Oh, I need the right job. I want Google to call me. I want Meta to call me. I want Amazon to call me. No. First, in order for this sun to give you success, go do work that society thinks is degraded. Where society may think, oh, it's a lower paying job. You must do that first. With your master's degree, go work in Starbucks. Go work in McDonald's. Go do some like cleaning of toilets. As I did. I actually just did a reading today of a person from Argentina. They're a lawyer in government. You know what they're doing right now in a different country? They're cleaning spas. And when this happens, just know something good will come out of it because you are paying some karma. It's better. It's like, yes, please make me do it. But see, Shani rules originally the 10th house with Capricorn. So what gives you that power and success is when you have gone through that position of being at the lowest level, because sun is naturally directionless. And then you're doing the most lowest level of work. And only once you have done that lower level of work that you will go high. Otherwise, you'll get frustrated throughout life. You want fame. You want power. You got to satisfy the soul. And soul says, I need to serve. If I'm not serving, I'm not happy. So sun in the 7th house cannot do some job of a stockbroker or financial analyst because they won't make money at all. They'll be humiliated in their work and job by their bosses. You should always do something at a lower level. Even if, let's say, you're starting out top, maybe you can, on the weekend, do some work that kills your ego. You're working for Goldman Sachs. Well, first of all, unless you got excellent yogas, you may not be working for Goldman Sachs. But you may not last long. Especially if sun is in Libra. You may not last long because your ego will be humiliated, will be hurt. But if somehow you get a job like that at Goldman Sachs, go clean some toilet in some church or mandir on the weekend. At least you can do that. And usually with sun in the seventh and in the ascendant, both, such people, although they like going into politics and will go into politics, but they must give themselves to society for the betterment of society. See, sun in the seventh house cannot find true satisfaction and happiness by selling saris, selling lingerie, selling perfumes. You're not really serving the society, just taking care of a small portion of that. What serving society is that when you deal with some pain, when you take away some obstacle or pain, that's what serving society is. Okay. Now, of course, if Venus is there, then yeah, you can do all these type of work. But sun in the seventh house, the lower your job title is in the beginning, the better your career is and the better your marriage is. Because if one way or the other, either boss or the spouse will be coming after you. Actually, with your sun in the seventh house, your spouse will humiliate you in a group of people or friends. They'll behave very childlike. They'll throw temper tantrums. Okay. Then sun is in the eighth house. So when sun is in the eighth house, well, fourth from sun becomes the 11th house. Okay. Eighth house is naturally the house of occult, hidden knowledge, research, development, enterprising, industrialists. But fourth from it is the 11th house of gains, recognition, fulfillment of desires, older siblings, organizations. So sun in the eighth house, this is a particular position actually shows you should always desire to fulfill your desire. Don't say like, no, I don't want to fulfill desire. It's a bad thing. No, this is actually the house of Indra. Eighth, you must enjoy life. You must go out there and have a party. Both actually in the seventh and eighth house. You're doing that work in the seventh house, fine. But you must fulfill your desires. Go towards that desire. Soul says, I have some unfinished desires. Let's complete those. So don't let anybody else make you feel bad about why are you going after so many goals and so many desires? When are you going to go towards God? This and that. Say, no, this is not my time right now. When my time comes in, I'll go towards God. Right now, I need to fulfill the desire, unless your desire is to meet God. Okay, and then with sun in the eighth house, you will see the person has to be the organizer and keeping the social circles and network circles happy. You will see sun in the eighth house always tend to feel like my social circles and my friends, they're not supporting me, they're not helping me, they're this, they're that. Well, stop crying about that. Simply help and serve your friends and your social circle and network circles. Somebody needs a job, you should be there. You should be their light. Help somebody else also fulfill their desires. So sun in the fifth house and eighth house naturally is a very good position again for somebody to go into things like astrology and occult. Because you're lighting, sun is purifying the eighth house and lighting up the eighth house. Especially sun in the eighth house, this you will see the soul desires to do some form of activism in life. Stand up for something in life. Now, there's many things with sun in the eighth house. Like, for example, you have sun in the eighth house, the person who's next to you who's dying, they'll never die until you leave. Okay. Same thing with Jupiter too. Now, sun in the eighth house. Okay. This is a particular sun that the soul must actually learn or go through darkness in order to understand life itself. You will see this person goes through a big transformation in life. And usually such a transformation comes in when a person is falling towards like partying, falling towards like creativity, entertainment, but suddenly changes their direction towards divinity, changes their direction towards some purifying knowledge that suddenly awakens their life and helps them fulfill their desires. Okay, and especially you will see recognition for this person comes in. Their biggest pet peeve of their recognition will be, this person was almost down to zero luck in life, and look at that. They rose up like a phoenix. So you become an inspiration for people with sun in the 8th. Then you will see sun in the 9th house. Now your sun is in the 9th house. Okay. That means 4th from the sun is the 12th house. So what is here that is going to give you your kingdom? That is going to raise that status and give the power, but also satisfy your soul. Because remember, somebody gives you a nice gift. You get a PlayStation, right? You're happy. But compare that happiness when you see a poor kid who hasn't had a single toy in their life, and you're like, I've got an Xbox, I've got a Super Nintendo, and I've got this PlayStation. I've got PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6. And you take your PlayStation 5 because you got the 6, right? Give your PlayStation 5, you give this to this kid. And they cannot imagine how in the world are they receiving this thing. What jackpot and lottery did they hit? And you see that emotional vulnerability on them, that complete shock of happiness on them. And you just feel like, wow, I'm glad I did this. That is the feeling of the soul being satisfied, and that is a much higher satisfactory feeling than you actually just getting that PlayStation 6. Because you know why? Within a week or two, that PlayStation might just be sitting on underneath the TV. You're playing, you're not playing. Yes, I remember my own days of Super Nintendo where I finished Zelda game that I was obsessed with 5-6 times. But guess what? We grew out of it. But giving that away, you always remember. I still remember that smile on that kid's face, even though I was a kid. I can't believe that child was that happy. You won't remember how many PlayStations and gifts you got. You'll remember that. Because what is the 12th house? 12th house is a house of giving. 12th house is a house of giving. And now, what is the 9th house? 9th house is Bhagya Uday, meaning rise of luck. Rise of, the things that we actually want to activate. So feel like we're a productive member of society. We are now on some status. That is happening because the more you give, the more you receive. That's the most important thing. The other thing, for this particular person, I'm not talking about sun in the 9th house. We can go on with those predictions. You might have moon. Let's say your moon is in the 4th house, conjunct Venus. Mercury is in, or I'm sorry, well, moon cannot be in the 4th house in this case. What I'm trying to say, let's say your moon is in the 11th house of social circles. Venus is in the 11th house with moon. Mercury is in the 10th house. Mars or Jupiter is in the 12th house. You love social interactions. You love to deal with people. You love to make connections. Your mind feels, see, I'm not talking about soul. Your mind feels satisfied when it's just hanging out with people. But you always feel this bit of this tick inside you. So why is it that when I'm hanging out with people, kind of like Hollywood celebrities, going to all kinds of parties, yet they're drugged up, pilled up, okay? Having all kinds of controversies happening on TMZ and media. What they must realize is that soul doesn't want that. You know what the soul will be happy by? Is when you spend time alone. When you go into isolation. Because you're not here to satisfy your mind. Not even in this video, I'm talking about it in general. It's not about satisfying of the mind. It's about satisfying of the soul. That's why sun is the biggest graha. That which moves across the plane of the ecliptic. It's saying, I'm so big, pay attention to me. I'm giving you light every day, pay attention to me. Like in the horoscope, we barely try to talk about the sun. We're moving towards Venus and Moon and Saturn and Jupiter. Sun gets missed. So if somebody's going through some downtime or downward spiral time, we're always looking at, okay, this is what you need to do to satisfy your moon. Well, the moon, which is the mind, which is taking the vibrations in, that vibrations are still connected with sun, the soul. Because remember, the solar storms, the solar winds come towards Earth and Moon. Okay, they can change the moon. Main thing is that sun. That means this person, if you wanna make the planetary placement that I just gave, this person's feeling depressed and all that stuff, go spend time alone. You must spend time alone. First, the mind comes in right in front. Oh, this is boring. This is dull. This is worse than anything else. But then as you just spend time alone, some things start to trigger with that sun in the 9th. And what happens within that isolation, you begin to get gyan, meaning knowledge and wisdom. And once you have strengthened that particular 9th sun, now moon is already being fed. Because if you wanted that social circles, what sun did, spend time alone, and I'm going to give you the right people that you should be around. Because Venus is Daitya. Like the Asuras, like people that when you go into a bar, you're talking and you're having a conversation. Which, you know, it says, I love going sitting at the bar. Whenever I'm at a restaurant, I love going sitting at the bar, but I just don't like to talk to anyone. Right? And that's a weird fluke. That's an awkward fluke. What is this guy doing at the bar if he doesn't want to talk? I don't like to talk. I like to just sit there and observe and listen and just be in my own world. So what they're doing, hey, we're going to give you go sit at the bar. Or instead of sitting at the bar, you will sitting at some spot, but it will provide you, instead of one side of the coin, will provide you with the other side of the coin. Which is now will provide you with the group of people who will be giving you the right vibrations to your moon. Not taking your, tequila shots with other people at the bar. Or Jaeger bomb shots. You'll now be taking shots of knowledge and wisdom. So if you want that status, then 12th house has to become activated. This person must It's not like you should. You must spend time alone and spend time in places like ashrams, monasteries, hermitages of a guru. That is more important than any other placement out there. So you don't need to satisfy your Jupiter. Jupiter is full of wisdom. Jupiter, I got wisdom. But in order to satisfy that wisdom, you got to go to the sun. And that's when you find that recognition, that power that comes to you through knowledge. Not even knowledge. Knowledge is easy. You can go and, remember all your test answers. Great, you got your MBA. That's knowledge. Wisdom is, if knowledge is on the 5th floor, wisdom is at 46th floor. Okay. With sun, when it's in the 10th, what is the soul wanting? What is 4th from the sun? It is the 1st house and the ascendant. And you got to also remember the sign, as I said. Okay. This is the person that is going to be completely absorbed in their work, in their duty, in wanting to create an organization, wanting to build something, wanting to do something for society. Wow, great. Yet what is being ignored, because 4th from sun is you. Pay attention to yourself. Take care of yourself. Until you are satisfied, you cannot satisfy the society. Some people are manic depressive. So many congressmen and women are actually drugged up. Domestic violence, this and that. Why? Because they're just all about how to get that power. I want to get that power. I want to get the power. I want to get the power. And yet they ruin their own reputation with the 10th house because they're not paying attention to the ascendant. That, hey, take care of your health. Take care of yourself. Okay? And especially just like the 12th house, the 1st house is the self-realization, which is why you came in. Here, self-realization becomes more important. A yogi who's born, their job, no matter where their sun is, they're going to self-realize. For the normal person, the 1st house realizing that this is who I am. I am. And what I am is that I am this purity. Not this impurity that is being created with sun in the 10th house. So if you want that power, if you want that recognition, what needs to be satisfied, what gives moksha to your sun is your purity. You becoming pure, you becoming healthy, you're focusing on yourself first. That, okay, and then here's the philosophical side of this. Before I change society, am I changed? If I'm fighting for some bill and some righteousness of some minority people in my country, and I'm fighting for the bill to pass so they can be taken over, how am I? Like, for example, you just saw in US, what is his name? Snowwell or something? This Californian congressman just caught with prostitutes and affair with a Chinese spy. And yet, if you heard their speeches, when they were in the Congress, oh boy, they're all about attacking the other side and how they're bad for this country and we're not doing this. We're doing this harm to this group and this harm to that group. Yet the person is going out there harming their own family, their own sanity, their own purity. And now it's out in the open. When sun is in the 10th house, watch for your action. Because sun is watching your 10th house. Okay. If somebody else, let's say Saturn is the king of judging, sun is the emperor of that. Sun is the emperor. And you will see, especially when sun is in the 10th house, the healthier your body is, the better your profession will be. Stop ignoring. Don't say, well, I'm working all day and night. How I'm going to go to the gym and work out and walk and jog and do yoga? Oh, no, you must. You must. What if somebody just said, if you don't do this, or let's say you get some major health issue, that is do or die situation. I guarantee you on a paper you'll find time for that particular thing because you don't want to die. You must think like that. Somebody, oh, I'm all about society. I'm all about going to that higher status. Yet you get liver cirrhosis. Now what? You get some blood defect. Now what? Oh, you're going to pay attention to your body, right? You're going to find time to go to the doctor, to go to the therapist. You better do that now. Then you have sun in the 11th house. Okay. When sun is in the 11th house, number one, just like sun in the 4th house, formation of family. Family becomes more important. When you sacrifice yourself for the family, that's when your gains come in. Sun in the 11th house, we'll ignore that part because again, we're always ignoring the things that are supposed to help us until the time comes in, then it helps us. And what astrology is trying to tell us, hey, don't wait for this dasha antra dasha. Start doing it now. Perhaps that's why the dashas were giving. This is your Raj Yoga time. This is your Daridra Yoga time. Great. I'll just sit back and wait for that time to come in. Okay, then don't cry. Do not go to astrologers crying. I haven't gotten a promotion in 10 years. I haven't gotten this. I work hard and everybody else is getting promotion. Because what are you doing for you? Are you making your status, the planet of your status, happy? In the 2nd house, when sun is in the 11th, you have to be truthful. One has to be an honest person, and you will usually find such people being quite honest. When sun is in the 2nd house, or sun is in the 11th house, you will see your speech is what leads you to either depleting of gains and desires or gaining of gains and desires. Okay? Food that you eat will impact your sun in the 11th. That's right. And this is complicated because for someone, eating meat, eating non-veg, fried, might actually be helping the sun. For someone, they have to be a pure vegetarian. So it's not like, oh, well, eating meat is bad, drinking is bad, and this is good. These are all wasteful things. Every single chart has its own constitution. Okay? What envelops this entire constitution is how we were brought up. The whole family is only vegetarian. Yet people are sick. People have all kinds of, vitamin deficiencies. But no, you have to be vegetarian. So your food that you eat, the 2nd house, planets in the 2nd house, 2nd Lord house placed, it's saying, I need this. I don't care what the culture you were born in. I don't care what your beliefs are. Remember what I said. Actually, no, this is what I said in my marriage course, actually. About what a person wants and doesn't want with Saturn in the 7th house. Cosmos wants something. Pay attention to that more than what you and I need or want. Our needs and wants will never stop and changes constantly. One day we want to have a Ferrari, but then the next day we're like, oh, I want a Porsche. That's how we are. Responsibility. The day you say, I'm going to take responsibility of my family. I'm 23 years old. Father's working, everybody's working, but no, that's not right. I'm going to take a responsibility. I'm going to start contributing to the family and see what happens to their sun in the 11th. Okay. This is probably the most important sun out of moon, Jupiter, Mercury, everything. Because the first giver of life is the sun. Light and life. 12th house sun. Okay. Fourth from 12th house sun will be the third house. For this person, they must express themselves creatively. 12th house sun, communication, the art of communication, the art of sales and marketing is what's going to help your status, your power, and satisfying your soul. Soul wants to communicate, soul wants to perhaps write, soul wants to perhaps do something creative, media, performance. That's how that person finds their kingdom, because soul has something that it needs to be satisfied with. Third house also represents the siblings, taking responsibilities of the siblings. Maintaining a great relationship with the siblings, because that will lead you to that sun status. Third house, when sun is in the 12th house, your soul does not want to sit back and be like, oh yeah, give me lottery gains and give me like cryptocurrency buying at like $10 and then becoming $100,000 Bitcoin. You'll always be feeling empty, empty, empty. Soul says, I want to work so hard that I'm out of blood and I'm out of sweat and I'm out of tears. Once you feel that, you will feel something inside you. You'll feel something where something is speaking and you don't understand. I wanted things easy, but why is it that I'm feeling so happy? By putting my effort, because third house is the effort. Okay. Like, for example, sun is in the 5th house. Yeah, you might actually gain unknowingly through speculation. But soul doesn't care about that. Soul has something else that it needs to satisfy. In the 12th, sheer hard work is the only thing that'll make you happy. You need to be that type of CEO. If you have a manufacturing plant, you're the one who's actually going to that empty machine where the worker just left or a worker is sick. You're there actually doing that work as well. I'm amongst all of you. Because remember, sun is in the 12th house with Marna Karka position. Sun is there going to be dead. Which means that sun has to behave like it's no longer the king. And it has to work. Kind of like a best example of what Mark Zuckerberg said, that I don't want some special corner office on the top floor. I'm sitting amongst all the people. I don't care what your opinions is of Mark Zuckerberg, what he has done. Guess what? The guy is worth $150 or $200 billion now. Okay. There is something that invokes. Now, some planets stop you from doing that. Some planets help you in doing that. And that's what separates, that 1%er from the 99%ers. Okay, it's not about sun in the 12th house. Yes, soul is also desiring that 12th house related things. Like sun in the 12th, 2nd, 4th, 10th will always somehow land you in a foreign place, foreign lands, one way or the other. Those are the other predictions. This is why I said with one planet you can make so many predictions. So 12th house sun will be naturally, because sun is natural. It naturally created things. Naturally will be invoking their third house of communications, marketing, media, information, communications. So if you're a techie, you're in software engineering, IT, this and that. With 12th house sun, go into data, what is it called? Data science, data mining. Because you're dealing with that third house. And you will see somehow you just feel more satisfied there instead of just programming some software. Okay. So this was the sun and fourth from the sun. And next time we will do, I think now we will move to Jupiter or Venus. Okay. So we'll see you later. Bye bye.